Hi, my name is Kuvam Lore, and I'm a local youth pastor located in Englewood, New Jersey at Renovare Church. I graduated out of college in December 2012 with a bachelor's degree in pastoral ministry and have been employed as a youth pastor at Renovare Church for over 2 years. I am also currently enrolled at Alliance Theological Seminary in my second year of the MDiv program. Renovare Church is a Korean-American church with a weekly attendance of over 100 adults, 25 youth, and over 25 kids under 8 years old. I am also currently working with the youth group and college and career group. The degree in which my church is collectively aware and responsive to the topic of same-sex marriage is relatively small in honesty. That does not go without warrant, though. We do openly talk about it. It is a topic that many of our youth students have asked myself personally as well as their teachers. We have openly discussed this topic, we have engaged in meaningful Bible studies, and we've also engaged in application that applies to our life. But that doesn't seem to be a rather far discussion point that many people have today. It is one of the largest questions facing the church, not just mine. Five-step program involving the issues of same-sex marriage, but we would openly discuss and begin to talk to any family who may be experiencing this topic of same-sex marriages. I believe that homosexuality and that same-sex marriages are still merely a byproduct of human sin and of the human heart. It is the disobedience of man's heart that leads him into unnatural relationships, it says in Romans. It is the same sin that heterosexual people commit. I believe that the Bible would encourage and speak truth to the restoration and reconciliation of all human sin, including homosexuality or same-sex marriages. Our church participates in ensuring social justice on many levels in our community. We constantly pray for the revival of Englewood, New Jersey, but would also seek to minister to them on a personal and private level. We have outreach opportunities and events to seek to engage our community. We partake in areas of social justice as in feeding the homeless. We try to take care of their every individual basic need. But in all honesty, we should be doing more. The issue of social justice is something that you cannot be completely covered unless the church is willing to truly live out its basic meaning. To love God, to love others. To love God is to ultimately sacrifice everything inside for the betterment of your community. Issues were addressed in the Hmong church in which I grew up in was very similar to my current approach. We believed that social justice was more than just donating financial means to a cause, but to practically, even physically, play a part in God's work. We also fed the homeless, supported school drives, gathered winter coats, and also visited the elderly.
Growing up in a Hmong church, none of these issues are really brought up. They were really shied away. Our community tried to avoid it, and not a lot of people knew about it, so it was never really brought up. It was never really a question we pondered.
In my home church, I was made aware of same-sex marriages, but it was not a certain topic that we regularly discussed about. It was almost considered taboo to speak about it, and we all understood the idea, but we all weren't fully given the answers. Coming especially from an Asian community made the topic even harder to discuss at home and at church. But we were certainly made aware of the topic, though.
My church, they address it, and for things like same-sex marriage, that's not really addressed. There's certain things that are addressed, like poverty, and as a CMA church, we focus on missions, so that's like one of the things that we like to do. But there are definitely some things that we don't look upon or don't focus.
I think when I was younger, it wasn't really talked about, but as I got older and as the society is changing, my pastor is addressing more of same-sex marriage, but it's still not being as talked about as much as it should.
So it was never really addressed in our church, and we never really talked about it, and it was something I personally never really encountered with Hmong people, really struggling with that, because we would never really speak about it outside of church as well.
I think the topic of same-sex marriage is a huge fear that the Hmong churches don't like to talk about. They don't like to mention, and if it ever comes up, they try to sweep it right under the mat.